My name's Alyssa Finley. I'm the VP of Product Development at 2K Marin, working on the Bureau XCOM Declassified, and you are watching Eurogamer.
Greetings gamers, Ian from Eurogamer here, and I have in my hands a top secret interview about the Bureau XCOM Declassified. Last time I saw the Bureau it was at E3 2011. It was just called XCOM, it was a first person shooter, and the hardcore XCOM fanbase were waving pointy sticks and burning torches at it, severely displeased with the radical change in style from intelligent turn-based strategy game to a generic FPS. Once the excellent XCOM Enemy Unknown was announced and the fans were treated to a game they truly deserved, the reimagining kind of dropped off the radar, but now it's back, it's had that name change, and it's gone all third-person perspective on us. I asked Alyssa Finley from 2K Marin to declassify exactly why there's been such a radical change to the gameplay.
I'm over here! Come here!
So what we've done is we've continually iterated towards what we think are the absolute core aspects of XCOM, which is things like tactics, tools, team, terror, and tension. And so in order to really bring the team aspect to play, even though we did start out in a first-person perspective, in 2011 when you saw it, we had a first-person, third-person hybrid. When you moved into battle mode, then it would stop time and you would be able to pull back, see your team, and build a plan for your agents in real time. And then when you built out that plan, start it all up again and go. We felt that that was a better expression of the team that XCOM has to have, but it wasn't quite there yet. And when we brought the whole game into third person, what we felt you had was that tactical awareness of both yourself and your squad, where you were placed on the battlefield, what was out there, and what you could do to best take advantage when frequently you're outnumbered on the battlefield, so it takes outthinking and outgunning to actually succeed.
Can you give us an overview of the story for those unfamiliar with how the Bureau will fit in with the XCOM universe, and also let us know about the main protagonist in the game, William Carter?
The Bureau XCOM Declassified is essentially the origin story of the XCOM organization. Every other XCOM game has been set in the future, whether that was 1999 or sometime after 2013. It was in the near future. And we really wanted to look to the past to see how could an organization like that have come to pass? What series of events? If there was an alien invasion in one spot, how did people react to that and how did they stop it? That's the story we explore over the course of the Bureau. So William Carter is an ex-military, ex-intelligence guy who is kind of down on his luck at the point where he connects with the XCOM folks. He's actually in a position where he's essentially a courier delivering a package who happens to be there at ground zero of the alien invasion on the day when a particularly nasty event happens. He pulls together a team on the fly and figures out how to hold them back and successfully get him and his team through and back to XCOM headquarters. And that is really the thing that sets the course of the war and sets the tactics that the XCOM team is using, with sending a field commander out with a team of agents to try to stop the aliens in their tracks, understand what they're doing, and figure out how to solve this problem of an invasion before it becomes global scale.
It sounds like the Bureau is going to be a lot more action-orientated than XCOM Enemy Unknown. Will there still be an emphasis on the base and research management that we saw in last year's game?
We tell that story in the game. We've really moved the aspect of research to being much more part of the story and much less something that the player manages for themselves. In the Bureau, our focus is really that player experience of having their boots on the ground, solving problems with their guns and their abilities. And we've tried to put as much of the gameplay focus as possible on that kind of activity.
It's not just pew pew bang bang action though, there's also team management and customization elements as well.
In XCOM, we have four classes of agents that the player can choose from. There's the recon, the support, the engineer, and the commando. And within each of those classes, there are choices the player can make. As one of those agents gains ranks and experience, you can choose different perks to customize the kind of gameplay experience you want. You also find backpack schematics over the course of your missions, and you can bring those backpack schematics back to the XCOM base where your science team will turn them into things that you can actually take out into the field to strengthen your team and customize the way you play. From, I'd rather have a backpack that lets me take a lot of damage because I like to get out there and really, get in these guys' face. Or I'm a sniper, so I'd like a backpack that enhances my long-term sniping abilities.
I got hands-on with the Bureau, and at first controlling William Carter and ordering his team around felt very reminiscent to the World War II shooter Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway, where you select where you want your troops to go and try to outflank your enemies, managing your battle tactics on the fly in the middle of a firefight. While that sums up the Bureau on a very basic level, the combat here actually goes much deeper, utilising something called Battle Focus.
Battle Focus is a mode that essentially gives the William Carter the ability to step back from the battlefield still in real time, take a look around and build the best possible tactical plan based on what's going on. That can mean setting a plan for both himself and his agents, where you can say, I would like you to go over there, I would like you to target that guy, and I'd like you to use your force push ability to knock these guys back out of cover. Then I'll set my other agent to go get a flank on them, and when they're out of cover, I'll quickly take advantage of that flanking bonus to knock them down quickly. You can build these kind of complicated multi-step plans in real time while you still essentially have bullets whizzing by your head.
We were only shown a couple of missions, but there are actually quite a few, split into 3 groups: minor, major and dispatch missions. What do these involve?
Dispatch missions are missions that you send agents on who aren't going out onto the field with you. This lets them rank up and get further experience, as well as potentially bring back things that will help the XCOM organization in the global war, or in the nationwide war. You also have minor operations. These are completely optional missions that you and your agents can go out on, again, to get additional experience or to solve problems that you think are important on the nationwide map. And then there's major operations. These are the major plot chapters that move the story forward. Once you go on one of these, there's no going back.
And will those missions be single player only? Is there any multiplayer at all, co-op or otherwise?
It is a fully single-player narrative experience. We really wanted to focus on telling the story.
Look, Grace.
The main enemies in this game, the Outsiders, are newbies to this series, but we'll also be seeing some familiar alien faces, right? Am I right? Am I?
So the Outsiders, or they're a race called the Zujari, and they are basically a slaver race. They enslave members of other alien races like sectoids and mutons, and they actually bring them into play as soldiers on their battlefields. There will be both a combination of familiar enemies like the sectoid and the muton, and new enemies that haven't been seen before in the XCOM universe like the Zujari, and some ones that people who have been following our game for a while might remember, things like the Blob from 2010. Those are silicoids, and they're still in the game, still there, and they're kind of the attack dogs of the battlefield. They're fast and they're fierce, and they will deny you cover, so you got to take care of them when they show up.
The Bureau is set in the past. This will obviously affect the kind of weaponry available. What will William be able to get his shooting arm on in the game?
So XCOM starts off with the classic weapons of 1962, things like a shotgun or a sniper rifle, but they quickly discover, faced with superior technology, they need to find ways to use that technology against the aliens. So they can pick up alien weapons and then equip the team with things like laser SMGs or a scatter laser. It's the classic XCOM progression of bullets to lasers, lasers to plasma, and each new type of gun you find will likely be more powerful than the one you had before.
Thanks, Alyssa. Not being a massive fan of turn-based games myself, I found that I really enjoyed the Bureau, as it's kind of a nice middle ground between the core XCOM games and the dumbed-down shooters that I like to play. The battle focus commands will add that bit of strategy to the game that the core will appreciate though, and fans of the series may also be interested in seeing an origin story for their favourite alien hunting supergroup. If you want more exclusive interviews and early gameplay footage of all of this year's biggest and best upcoming games, why not give us a subscribe by clicking on that on-screen annotation. The truth is out there, and we're gonna find it for you. Diddly 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 doo 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 boo 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 boo. That was the X-Files theme tune. That's nothing to do with XCOM. Oh.